As soon as Annie walked out of the subway station, she was targeted by a group of thugs. They followed her quietly in a van until she walked into a dark alley. Annie sensed something was wrong and quickened her pace, but she was still knocked out with a sedative and dragged into the van. When Annie didn't come home, Jago called her, only to find it turned off. He contacted her classmate and learned Annie had left hours earlier, instantly getting a bad feeling. He drove around searching everywhere but found nothing. The next day, the police received a report and found a female body in a river. Police Captain Payson rushed to the scene immediately. An examination revealed the body was not bloated or decomposed, and the time of death was no more than 36 hours. The police checked recent missing person reports and quickly confirmed the victim was Annie. Jago arrived upon hearing the news, his steps slow and light, unable to believe what the police were saying. Even when he walked into the mortuary, he asked the staff if they'd made a mistake. Glancing through a gap in the curtain, he saw a cartoon tattoo on the body's wrist exactly the same as his daughter's. Grief-stricken, he pulled back the sheet and saw his daughter's lifeless face, begging the police to save his daughter. Payson walked outside alone to light a cigarette. After years on the force, this was the one scene he'd never get used to and never wanted to face. After a brief questioning, they saw Jago off, promising to give him answers. But Payson never expected that Jago didn't leave at all. His eyes empty, he sat outside the police station from dawn to dusk, from sunset to sunrise. His daughter's death had completely broken this man. Her death, with severe lacerations to her lower body, blunt force injuries on her fingers, and bruises all over her body, indicating a violent struggle before she died. Even more horrific, she had been forcibly injected with a dangerous drug, the dose far exceeding what an ordinary person could tolerate. Her killers were extremely cruel. Even though Payson had handled many cases, he couldn't help but gasp. To solve the case quickly, Payson returned to the river to analyze the scene. Recent rising water levels had created an eddy. The current seemed fierce but was actually swirling in place. Although watch. When someone asked him to pass a beer, he hurried to get it from the fridge. Just then, he received a call from his father, urging him to bring the car back. Alan had already wanted to leave, and his father's call gave him the perfect excuse. But just as he was about to leave, Delvin called out to him, mocking him for being too scared to join in. Alan explained that his father was urging him to come back, or he'd get beaten. He'd be held responsible, and told him to keep his mouth shut. Delvin was the only son of local tycoon Carson, and he never thought about the consequences of his actions. After Alan left, Delvin and Liam assaulted the girl and recorded the entire incident on video. But in their madness, they accidentally killed her. Make the more scared he became. He walked to the river alone, took out Annie's phone, and wanted to call Jago, but he never mustered the courage. Meanwhile, Jago was choosing a photo for his daughter's funeral, his eyes empty as if his soul had been sucked out. The staff asked if he was sure he wanted to use that photo and asked him to sign. Jago walked under an overpass staring blankly at a small dog in front of him when he suddenly received a text message. It contained the killer's names, home addresses, and where the house keys were hidden. The sender was Alan. Jago wasn't sure, so he called Payson, but no one answered. He then set off according to the address. It was a standalone courtyard by the river. After knocking with no response, he took the key behind the lampshade and opened the door. The room was dark and damp, and a Buddha statue above emitted a dark red light, as if a bystander witnessing the evil here. Just then, Liam suddenly came back. Jago immediately hid behind a pillar. Fortunately, Liam was on the phone and didn't notice him. He breathed a sigh of relief, then looked down and found a school bag similar to his daughter's. Picking it up, he saw intimate clothes and a small dog pendant that belonged only to his daughter. Then he heard a video playing on the computer, his daughter being mistreated. Sorrow and despair instantly overwhelmed him. He walked slowly toward Liam, who heard the movement, looked up and was about to speak when Jago punched him. Overwhelmed by grief, Jago had almost lost the instinct to fight back. But as he listened to his daughter's heart-wrenching cries, his anger ignited in an instant. He vented his rage frantically, blow after blow, until he smashed the monster's skull to pieces. Afterward, he lay weakly on the ground, and the phone beside him rang. It was a message said a silent goodbye to his daughter, and set off on a path of revenge, his eyes firm, vowing to make these monsters pay with blood for their crimes. Soon after, the police found Liam, already dead for hours. Looking at the video on the computer, Payson suddenly realized that Jago was most likely responsible. How did he find Liam's location faster than the police? Through invest cafes. During questioning, Alan claimed that Delvin had an older brother named James in Shaping, and he was probably there. After confessing, Alan was released. Faced with his father's scolding, his repressed emotions erupted completely. He accused his father hadn't he ever cared about him. Where was he when Alan was being bullied? They called him an accomplice, but he didn't know the girl would die. Meanwhile, the police found a large number of indecent videos on Liam's computer, involving 3 girls. Besides Annie, there were Maria and Lily. After the incident, Lily had left town, and Maria, unable to bear the humiliation, had jumped to her death the previous month. Sitting outside the police station was Maria's father, Charlie. Just then, Delvin's father arrived at the police station. Upon learning what his son had done, he showed no remorse and even made outrageous remarks. Kids will be kids, getting a little carried away with she wasn't being promiscuous. Payson stepped in, pinning Charlie firmly against the wall. Looking at the desperate Charlie, he felt a surge of sorrow. All he could do was comfort him softly. At the same time, Jago arrived in Shaping, checked into a cheap short-term rental, and started looking for clues. The landlord, Molly, was a mother who had just lost her child. Although Jago acted normally, the small dog pendant on his school bag aroused her suspicion. To find Delvin, Jago opened Liam's USB drive and watched the videos repeatedly, eventually spotting an auto repair shop. On the other side, the police also found a clue. 4 years earlier, Delvin had been arrested for theft, along with 7 other people, one of whom was James, who now ran an auto repair shop in Shaping. Payson led a team to head to Shaping, but Jago had already arrived at seizing the chance to snatch the shotgun and shoot James in the right leg. James screamed and begged for mercy, saying Delvin was at an abandoned hotel in the eastern suburbs. Jago forced him to lead the way, but James said he didn't know how to get there and begged repeatedly. Jago took the shotgun and the remaining 2 bullets and fled quickly, unaware that the police had issued a warrant for his arrest. The first person to recognize him was none other than his landlord. Molly, she remembered someone saying the man was there to get revenge, that his daughter had been raped and killed, and that he had already killed one of the killers, fleeing in a coat. Curious, Molly sneaked into his room and saw the videos on the computer. Before she could process her shock, Jago came back, so she had to hide. Jago sensed something was wrong. The computer had been on when he left. His eyes turned dark, but Molly was unafraid. As parents who had both lost their children, she understood his situation. After the police left, Molly urged him to turn himself in. Jago said the law would punish the killers and give them a chance to redeem themselves. He told Molly to call the police after he left. When the police arrived at the repair shop, it was already empty. Looking at the piles of discs of victimized girls, Payson was furious. Surveillance footage showed Jago's figure, and they also learned he had taken the shotgun. Payson realized the situation was out of control. Late at night, Jago searched online and found an abandoned hotel in the suburbs that matched James' description, likely Delvin's hiding place. At the same time, the police also found the hotel. The next morning, Jago was about to leave, but the outside was full of police. Stepping out would mean being arrested. Molly unexpectedly chose to help him, secretly driving him to the outskirts. Meanwhile, the police arrived at the hotel first. They didn't find Delvin, but they found a girl, Lily, one of the victims. Delvin had been threatening her with the video and holding her captive there. The police said they would notify her parents, but Lily cried out to stop them. "Don't tell them. He forced me. He said he'd post the video online." Soon after, Delvin returned from outside, and Jago arrived too, hiding in the shadows to watch. Delvin was extremely cautious. He didn't go straight into the hotel but parked nearby and called Lily. The police told Lily to answer the call and trick Delvin into coming up. Lily answered and told Delvin there were police there, telling him to run. Just as he fled on his motorcycle, Jago shot at him. Missing the shot, Jago chased after him immediately. Payson also spotted him and ordered his men to pursue. A few minutes later, Delvin ran into the woods and quickly hid using the terrain. When Jago arrived, Delvin was gone. Payson caught up and called out to him, saying he couldn't help him if he kept running. Jago cried, begging Payson to shoot him. No one could help him. He just wanted to live with his daughter. He asked them, could they help him? He shouted, asking why it had to be his daughter, demanding his daughter back. Payson knew that pulling the trigger would end everything, but facing Jago's unwilling roars, he was torn between emotion and reason. Maybe Jago was never a murderer, just a helpless father. In the end, Payson gave in, letting him disappear from sight. That night, Jago wandered the streets of Shaping. Many people were offering sacrifices by the roadside to remember their loved ones. He put Delvin's photo into a fire basin. The flames burned everything, but they couldn't burn the longing in his heart. He raised the shotgun to his head. Maybe only death could end it all, ending this endless pain. Where at 8 a.m. the next day, with Delvin warning Alan not to tell anyone, or he'd kill him. But Delvin never expected that they overlooked a variable, Alan's father. After the police left, Alan finally breathed a sigh of relief and prepared to go to the internet cafe, only to be stopped by Charlie, Maria's father. "I'm Maria's dad, the father of the girl you drove to jump off a building." Alan argued that it had nothing to do with him, then ran away in fear. Charlie shouted after him, saying he would expose the truth, making this incident haunt Alan for the rest of his life. On the other side, Jago had a dream. He dreamed that his daughter had come home, and he was about to say something when he woke up suddenly. Maybe his daughter didn't want to see him like this. He turned on his phone, planning to turn himself in to Payson, but he never pressed the dial button. After dawn, he walked aimlessly down the street when he suddenly received a text message, 8 a.m. Delvin will be at the railway station. The sender was none other than Alan's father. Delvin grabbed the money and ran, darting into an underground passage. Jago chased after him immediately, blocking him from the other side. After a chase, he spotted Delvin first. He slowly cocked the shotgun, his eyes glowing with a bloodthirsty light, chasing Delvin and hitting him repeatedly, calling him a monster. Delvin kept kneeling and begging for mercy, saying he was sorry and begging Jago not to shoot, that he would turn himself in. Payson why Delvin had killed Annie. Delvin begged, saying he would change. Jago shouted, "You can't change. You're a monster. You're a scumbag." 2 gunshots rang out one after another, one from Jago, the other from the police. Delvin's face was covered in blood and gore. The non-lethal shotgun hadn't hit a vital spot, but Jago was shot by a police officer and fell slowly. In his final moments, he seemed to see his daughter again, smiling brightly. Maybe soon, they would be reunited as father and daughter. Not long after, Jago died from his injuries. Delvin lost one eye. As a minor, he was only sentenced to 15 years in prison.